Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'm going to be talking about an event that I have been to over the past weekend, which was the Lëtz Puzzle and Play in Luxembourg. This was partly a speed puzzle competition and partly a board game event, so there was definitely a lot to do during the day. The competitions themselves were very exciting and held some extra plot twists for some of the participants, and overall it was just a great day and I'm really looking forward to tell you about it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, puzzle.
The event itself was organized as the largest puzzling event of Luxembourg, so it was a very international event as well. From just the competitor list, I have seen at least 6 or 7 countries, and you're going to see that especially the podiums were showing a lot of international competitors as well. So there was a lot of things happening during the day, and it was just a very good way for puzzle people to again get together and hang out and complete a couple of puzzles during the day. The organizers really put their heart and soul into the entire event. They did come up with a lot of things that people could do throughout the day, so that even when you have a little bit of downtime and you're not puzzling or playing board games, you had things to do. One of the things that was possible to participate in for free, obviously, was a 5,000 piece puzzle that they have broken down into smaller sections that people could complete. And that way, actually, the 5,000 piece puzzle was completed by the end of the day. So people were very keen on that. It was also a very, very nice image by Ravensburger. I think it was some kind of world travel image with the Statue of Liberty and Eiffel Tower. I think also the Colosseum from Rome. So like all kinds of places. And it was just overall like a very fun image. I actually didn't get around to puzzle it myself because I somehow just never made it to that table. I did see the moment when they finished the puzzle, which was actually pretty fun because they finished the puzzle and they were like, there's a piece missing. So people started looking for that one piece somewhere, and they actually managed to find it in one of the bags. So that was like a little colorful part of completing the 5,000 piece puzzle. It was full in the end, so there were no pieces missing. Then another thing that people could do was a puzzle swap, which is again something that we know from other puzzle events as well. People who are very much into puzzles tend to have too many of them, so it's very nice to like swap them around a little bit, and every opportunity for that is always good. This time I actually didn't bring puzzles, mostly because I have already gotten rid of the ones that I wanted to get rid of the week before. But yes, a lot of people have been switching puzzles around, which was again very, very nice to see. Another extra thing that people could do during the day was playing board games. They had one board game cafe being represented at the venue and a board game club, which pretty much did the same as normal board game clubs usually do. You had people who were standing around there and you could always ask them for any instructions to not have to sit down and read the rules for half an hour before you can actually start playing, but you had someone who would explain the game to you as you start playing, so people could try out a lot of the board games, and it was a really, really good opportunity. There were a couple of board games that I really wanted to try out because I'm also kind of interested in board games, and sometimes I get one or two, but again, this time I just never got around to actually doing any of the board games that I was looking at. I do know that some of my friends did try out a game that I have been wanting to try out for a while, and they said it's definitely worth it, so I might actually get that board game later. It was a super idea, and I think board games and puzzles work out very well together. So hopefully there's going to be other events as well where board games and puzzles are kind of incorporated a little bit. I do think that somehow like people who are interested in puzzles are kind of also into board games in some form. So yeah, there's an opportunity there for the future. And it was just a great way to also get to know people, especially if there were some people who were kind of new to the entire community. That was also kind of a good way to just walk over to someone and ask if they want to play a board game. So yes, it's a lovely idea and I enjoyed it very much. So there were 3 categories of speed puzzling throughout the day. I participated in all 3 categories, so I'm going to go through them puzzle by puzzle. And the first one that we have started with, like right after we have arrived to the venue, was the solo category. So there were all kinds of goodies on the table, and obviously the puzzle itself as well, face down, so not in a bag. And the good thing about that is that actually the puzzle box, which which I'm going to show you on here, it doesn't have the image on the side. So you couldn't get a peek of it before actually puzzling. So we didn't know what the image is going to be really until the puzzle boxes were flipped and the competition started. Now, the event was sponsored by Puzzle Besties, and they are the ones who also provided the puzzles. And this was actually one thing that was super attractive for every competitor that entered the competition. They were all unpublished puzzles. The event was also kind of a brand premiere for Puzzle Besties. They have provided the puzzles for all 3 categories, and they are all working with Luxembourgish artists as well. And this was the first image that we have used for the solo competition. So this was the puzzle that we have puzzled at the solo competition. It is a challenging one. So as you can see, it's not an easy puzzle. There are some very distinct elements of the image that I think can be puzzled very well, but then everything else is like very busy and has a lot of lines going around everywhere. So it is a super challenging puzzle. Now, the things that I really love about it though is first, the quality. So I actually have already known puzzles like this before because I have been to a German competition in the beginning of the year that used the same printer for the production of the puzzles. So I already kind of know like the texture and the finish of the puzzles, and I'm super happy with it. So I really, really like this brand in that sense. The pieces are quite sturdy and they're not too thick, but I would still compare them to kind of Schmidt, but not holding together as strongly. They also don't have too much glare, which makes it very, very good for speed puzzling as well. And it's just a comfortable puzzle to puzzle, really. Now, the only thing that made it a little bit more challenging is actually the slight plot twist that ended up happening during the solo round, which actually happened to me and another competitor. That is that pretty much it just started out as normally a puzzle competition would. The timer starts, we open the boxes and start flipping the pieces. And I'm just starting to work on the puzzle as I normally would. So I do the flipping and I start sorting a little bit, like especially the pavement down here in the bottom right corner, the pink building around here, like this green umbrella as well. So like I start sorting these areas in the yellow building and like this section with the blue umbrellas as well. And somehow, especially because I started working in the beginning on this section, the pieces just wouldn't come together, even though like the image would suggest it, but still, whatever I did, I just couldn't get the pavement section completed. And it also felt like I have just way too much pavement compared to like a 500-piece puzzle. And I remember thinking to myself that this is just too many for the size of the 500 pieces that I would be expecting, especially compared to like this sky section, which was not big at all. It's like literally 1 row and 1.5 row. So I was thinking to myself that like something is not adding up here, but I didn't make too much of it and just started working on something else. But like whatever I was doing, the puzzle just didn't want to come together. And at somewhere around 25 minutes, I started getting a bit nervous about it because I'm not super fast, but at around 25 minutes, I usually already see like the puzzle taking some form already. But I literally just had like a pavement section, like a huge pavement section hanging around, some of the yellow building, and like somehow just it didn't add up. So I started getting nervous, and like I still picked up like little other sections that I thought I would still do, but I just couldn't get from 1 to 2. And then in like not really like a panic, but I thought, okay, then at least I'm going to do this lady in the middle. And so I select out the pieces and start putting it together, and I realized that I have 2 of her. So all of a sudden I was like, that's not good. So I actually had to wave the organizers over at one point and be like, hey guys, I actually have multiple puzzles in my box. And like once I actually looked at it with like these eyes, I realized that especially like this pavement section, it was like twice in the box with a different piece cut.
Froji suddenly raises her hand. I'm like, what's happening? I go there. Her puzzle has twice the puzzle in it. So this puzzle has 2 of everything. And she was like, I was wondering why I have 2 times this and 2 times this. So we had to give her a new puzzle. She's starting over. But this has never happened to me. 2 puzzles in 1 puzzle.
So yes, once that happened, I started my second puzzle. I started my own timer and I just puzzled as I would have in the first round already, but I was only like maybe halfway into flipping when I actually heard that Tanya from Germany, right at the neighboring table from me, was also waving the organizers over, and she also had double parts of her puzzle. So she, as far as I understood, had like the top section doubled. So pretty much what I actually think, also based on like what the organizers were saying, that as they laid out the puzzles on the tables for the competitors, they were just taking it out of the box as it was shipped to them. So most probably, at least that's my suspicion, during production, as the puzzles were cut, probably one of the puzzles actually fell off and onto ours in some weird way, so that I got like the bottom half and Tanya got like the other half. Also because there was apparently like a competitor who had pieces missing, especially like the pavement, so I guess I had that. But yeah, I guess we're never going to really find out. It's a manufacturing mistake. It happens. I have never heard of it happening before, but well, it was a new experience, and at least it's a good story to tell about the puzzle competition that I have been to. I don't think anyone was really frustrated. Like, this is something that the organizers really can't have influence over. They don't pre-puzzle the puzzles. These are unopened original packagings. So yeah, there's no way for them to control it. And yeah, no one was mad at them or anything like that. It is a hiccup in the sense that like you have to puzzle for longer, because like once you start your second puzzle, you have already been puzzling for like, in this case, half an hour. And at least I realized in time. So it's still better that it happened with me, for example, than compared to someone who maybe doesn't finish in like the given time and they might not know why. So I think it's still better that it happened to like Tanya and me and not somebody else. But all in all, I'm still super happy with the puzzle. I like the image, even though it is super challenging for me in this case. But it's really nice to have an artist design a puzzle specifically for a competition. And I do think that these are very special and it's a good addition to my collection. There was a little bit of downtime until the team competition, and that was when my puzzlery workshop was also open for business. So people just had the chance to like sit down at the table that was my little corner, and they could make their own jewelry. I didn't know what to expect, like how many people would be interested, but I did get some participants in the end, and it was just super fun to like work with them, come up with like a design that they wanted and just create something together. Obviously, like we also had a little bit of a chat, so I got to know them a little. I was super happy with like how the workshop turned out, and all in all, it was just an interesting experience to teach a little bit about like just turning puzzle pieces into jewelry. While I was busy with the workshop, the organizers have already been setting up for the team event. Now, the team competition, our team was the Click Click. It was a German team with Stephanie, Natalie, and Franziska, and myself. We have like puzzled together in like various ways, in that different pairs have puzzled together already. So for example, like Franzi and me are preparing for Worlds, and we're going to be a pair there. So we have been puzzling together whenever we could. With Steffi, we regularly puzzle together because we live pretty close to each other. And with Natalie, myself have not puzzled together before, but Steffi has at, I think, competitions as well. So we all kind of knew each other already, but not as a team. However, it did work out pretty well. We did form a pretty good team in that we could communicate really well. We could also distribute the tasks of the puzzle between ourselves very well. And that was also thanks to the puzzle itself. Now, the physical puzzle I can't show you because I don't have the puzzle myself. The way that we decided who takes home the puzzle at the end of the competition. So it was just through like a random generator app, and obviously I was not the lucky one, but you're going to see the puzzle like here in the screen and also in the footage. Now, the puzzle itself was also a Puzzle Besties puzzle, this time 1,000 pieces, and it was a super Luxembourgish puzzle. The kind of puzzle that I could actually imagine in like souvenir shops, because it has like all kinds of landmarks from Luxembourg and like a picture of Luxembourg City, some of like the sites that you definitely have to see when you go to Luxembourg. So it was was a very atmospheric puzzle, but also especially good for teams, because these collages are usually very, very good in the sense that you can distribute it between the people. There is something for everyone, and everyone can pick whatever they are strongest at. And I think that can really bring out the strength of every team that puzzles a collage puzzle. And in this case, it definitely happened. We could really immediately decide who wanted to do what, like already during the flipping stage of the puzzle. And then we could just like puzzle through it. And it worked out pretty well because our team finished in just under 35 minutes. 34 minutes and 59 seconds, if I'm correct. We were very chuffed with our time, and we were actually also the first team to finish, which is super nice. And we were very, very happy about it. And that is also how I ended up getting this, which is like a small medal for like the achievement of first place. And I also got to receive, along with everybody else on the team, a certificate for our placement, which is like a nice memory of the competition itself and of the achievement as well. So I was very, very happy about this. And our team was also just working very well together. And once the puzzle was done, it was actually pretty fun to see that somehow the atmosphere of the entire event made people want to just hang out. And once teams were finished, including our team as well, we didn't get up or leave the area. We just sat there at our table with the finished puzzle and just kept chatting afterwards. It felt like the puzzling never stopped and we just kept talking over it. Because we finished quite quickly, we had a lot of time to kill before the next event. And then we squeezed in a little bit of pair practice with my pair for Worlds. And apart from that, we were just waiting for the next event, which was puzzle chess. Now, the thing is, I'm not very good at puzzle chess. It's not very much my style. In puzzle chess, you actually play against someone, and I don't like these confrontative sports. It kind of frustrates me if I have someone directly across from me that I have to puzzle against, and I don't really enjoy doing that, to be honest. I find it super stressful. And then the other thing is that with puzzle chess, I also feel like the way that I puzzle doesn't really match how you should be puzzling in puzzle chess. But it is like a nice extra competition. But like I personally would not bravo for like just puzzle chess, for example. However, in this case, there were some things that the organizers were doing that I think were very, very good. For example, with the first puzzle, the way that they prepared the table is that they had two puzzles on the table. So one puzzle everyone would get to take home, even if they get eliminated in the first round, which I think is a nice gesture, which gives you an opportunity to take at least one puzzle home from the puzzle chess competition. Now, about the puzzle itself, I'm personally not a big fan of the size of it. I would have very much preferred if the pieces were actually the size of the pieces from the 500-piece puzzle, just because it's like big and chunky, and I don't think I'm going to be puzzling this too much in the future. The images themselves I actually loved, especially in the later rounds of the puzzle chess competition. The pictures that were coming up were amazing. They were all also by a Luxembourgish artist, Atelier Daniel, I think, and they're just lovely. So I would really have loved to have one of those images actually in the solo competition as a 500-piece. They're super fun to do, but somehow with like the 100 pieces, I'm not really a fan. It's just not easy to puzzle with like big pieces. And then it also creates kind of this like paradox situation that it feels more like a child puzzle, but then based on the image itself, it's not really a children's puzzle because I don't think the colors are vibrant enough for children. And it feels way more like the images, especially on this collage, are more for adults. But I would say the same thing about the other pictures as well. Still, like if they were available as 500 pieces, which I think I told the organizers there as well, that like maybe they should release these images as 500-piece puzzles, then I think they would be super fun to do. But like I'm personally not a very big fan of the big chunky pieces, mostly just the images themselves. Like those I really, really love, and I would be super happy to do them as a 500-piece puzzle later on. So once the puzzle chess category was over, it was just time for the closing ceremony and to give out the prizes for the first 3 finishers of each category. Now, the first place finisher for the solo category was Franziska from Germany, and she finished the puzzle with 50 minutes and 1 second. Then the second place finisher was Ellen from Belgium with 52 minutes and 21 seconds. And the third place finisher was actually just 5 seconds after Elin. This was Emilia from Finland. So it was a super international podium that we could see in the solo category. Then for the team competition, as I have spoiled the surprise already, the first place finisher was the Click 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 from Germany with Steffi, Franziska, Natalie, and myself. We finished the puzzle with 34 minutes and 59 seconds. Then the second place was the team Crazy Cats with like 4 people representing 4 different countries, which I think is very, very cool. So it was Matthias, Catherine, Janine, and Maria, and they finished the puzzle in 41 minutes and 22 seconds. And then the third place team was actually a Luxembourgish team called Lëtz Puzzle with Joyce, Kati, Alison, and Anne-Marie. So we actually also had a Luxembourgish team on the podium, which was very, very nice to see. And it was also a very close call between the second place and the third place, because the Crazy Cats have finished, and just 9 seconds after them was Lëtz Puzzle with 41 minutes and 31 seconds. And then with the puzzle chess, the first place finisher was Emilia from Finland, second place was Stein from Belgium, and the third place was Natalie from Germany. So everyone received pretty nice prizes provided by the organizers, which were some handmade items by local people, I think with disabilities, and they were incredible. Like there were some handmade glasses with some drawings on them, which looked incredible. The team prizes were provided by Puzzle Besties, and it was a package of Ravensburger puzzles, which we then distributed between each other. And then the puzzle chess prizes were actually some board games, which I think is also a very nice idea. And everyone seemed very happy with the prizes that they have received. So once the award ceremony was over, there was actually still a pub quiz that was planned for the evening, but I didn't stay for that myself. So I can't really tell you about what happened there, but apparently it was very, very fun from what I heard from people that were there. And just the whole event, all in all, was super atmospheric, very, very friendly. And I think the organizers really put a lot of attention to detail so that everyone really can have a good time. And that really did happen. So if they organize this event for next year, I definitely recommend that if you can make the trip to Luxembourg, then definitely do, because it's a great event and most probably they're going to be working with unpublished puzzles again. And that is always a big, big plus for puzzle competitions. I myself had an extremely good time in Luxembourg, and I personally always look for excuses to get to travel to Luxembourg because I really love the country. So I'm really looking forward to news about the next event, and I'm definitely going to be there. If you have enjoyed this video, then definitely give it a like and subscribe to the channel for upcoming puzzle content. With the Worlds coming up, there's definitely still going to be a lot of puzzles coming, and I'm looking forward to see you in the next video.